morning, my lovelies. How are we doing this morning? Coffee, Jesus, Spartan. Well, we're going to build some rigs this morning out at WW Motocross Park for Swamp Battle this weekend. So how are we doing this morning? This morning I want to talk about an attribute of God that I'm so thankful for. Actually, it's going to see that two are really going to tie together. So I want to talk about God's faithfulness this morning. Because what is faithfulness? I mean, really, what is it? When we get into talking about faithfulness, we're talking about allegiance, loyalty, fidelity, unchanging, which again kind of ties into an attribute I talked about last week called immutability, where God's unchanging. I thank God for his faithfulness because we're not faithful. We're definitely not faithful. I know I wasn't, and I know there's a lot of you out there that aren't faithful to so many other things. So, faithfulness. So, faithfulness goes with immutability because in order to be faithful, he really has to be unchanging. So they harmonize. So just like when we talked about sovereignty, you really can't talk about his sovereignty without talking about his omnipotence or him being all powerful, because they harmonize. All of his attributes harmonize together. That's what makes it so beautiful. Good morning, Kyle. What's up, buddy? Wow, Kyle. Yeah. Guys, if I haven't mentioned, Kyle was huge he was an obedient vessel and shared the gospel with me and was so pivotal to me hearing the knock and finding Christ. I just can't even tell you the amount of gratitude I have for Kyle sharing the gospel with me so that I can hear that knock, because God was pretty obvious, and the knock was pretty deafening. And I'm so thankful every day that, Kyle did that and stepped out in his faith and shared the gospel with me. But stay on track. So all of his acts, all of his acts and words are faithful and true, which we're not. We're not. We aren't unchanging. We're unfaithful out of desire. We're unfaithful out of fear, weakness, loss of interest. So I know you've heard me talk about how I was adulterous. I was clearly unfaithful. Out of what? Loss of interest. I would just go look for another woman. So God's not that way. And wow, how patient is he? I can only imagine God just sits up there and looks down at us and goes, oh. Let's look at his patience, and let's look at how he's slow to anger. And then let's look at us. We sit in a checkout line at a store, or we sit in traffic. Are we patient? Are we slow to anger? Oh no. That's why the term road rage exists. Good morning, Ray. That's why the term road rage exists, because we're certainly not slow to anger, and we're certainly not patient. But thankfully, because of his faithfulness, he is slow to anger and very patient. He waited 46 years for me to finally get the cotton out of my ears and hear his knock. And guys, he's knocking to every one of you. He's just knocking through me. Kind of how Kyle took that step out and poured into me. that's what he's doing to you right now. He's just, thankfully every morning I thank him for helping me to step out of his way so that he can do what he does. So guys, just think about that. Think about when you're in traffic. Think about when you're in a checkout line at a grocery store and you got 4 items and somebody in front of you has got 150 items. Be patient, because God's patient with us. Be faithful and take a moment and love on those people. Find something generous. Find something kind to say to them. Huffing is not... yeah, absolutely, brother. Many seeds to plant. Many seeds to plant. It's so easy to go, but step out of your comfort zone and find that moment to go, wow, find something in that line and go, you know what? That looks like that's going to be a delicious dinner. Find something, guys. Find a way and step out of your comfort zone and be nice and love on others. Be faithful to God by being faithful to his people, because that's what he calls us to do. I love you guys. I'm going to get ready and I'm going to go abuse my body yet again and be his hands and feet, building obstacles that I will abuse my body with on Saturday morning. I absolutely love you guys. Have an amazing, blessed Thursday. I can't even begin to express how much I love you guys. Have an amazing day, guys.